Hello, hello, hello. We are at week six. Oops, sorry. We are at week 6, BTL season 15. We have Spectre Gaming versus Dynasty Sapphire, and today I am joined by a surprise guest, Sly Red Frox. How are you doing, buddy?
Dude, surprise for everybody involved. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good myself. So, I don't know. You said it's been a while since you've been into the BTL Discord. So a little rundown on both these teams. These are basically the top three of our 8 teams this season. Spectre Gaming, I believe, is number 2 or number 3, and Dynasty Sapphire is number 2 and 3 as well. There's only one team that stands above them, and they'll be playing later today. No, they play tomorrow. But so we're going to have a little bit of a banger game. These two guys are really fighting over trying to secure that second seed and potentially fight for that first seed with this game.
Sick.
But
I can't wait to test this.
But let's start it off with some bans. Spectre Gaming opting for the Janna ban, a little bit interesting. That's probably more of a comfort pick ban. And then the Cassante, something that's been very powerful throughout all points of pro play and amateur play in team games. So good to see Cassante banned, whereas Dynasty Sapphires opted to ban the Maokai and Jinx. Maokai, again, one of those picks that is really powerful in a lot of team play, pro play, amateur leagues. So we're really taking off some of those power picks.
Yeah, I know nothing about either team, so hard for me to really analyze. I like the Cassante removal no matter what. That champion's unfun to play against.
Yeah.
Seems like Maokai has had a lot of relevance in Worlds right now. Definitely a valuable pick for controlling the map. The Diana ban is interesting to me. Do we have a Diana player on SG?
Yeah, so Vimstat, the jungler for Spectre Gaming, is a Diana main, basically, for the jungle. So that is a respect ban there, and he's opted to go for the Jarvan pickup. So it does kind of the similar things that Diana does, not as much damage output as Diana, but can start those fights very easily and keeps people like clumped up in one position. So maybe Spectre Gaming picks up an Orianna for their mid laner. To combo that with, we'll have to see if Dynasty Sapphire takes that away, though.
Definitely a great synergy champion option. Picking Ezreal makes a lot of sense. You allow yourself to be able to easily escape Jarvan Cataclysm. Pretty smart pickup there. Ralph, interesting pick there. Kind of does a lot of the similar mechanics that Ori might do. Obviously, we were talking about Ori for the Jarvan side, so we'll see if she gets blind picked here. But Ezreal, interesting lane synergy for us as an AD carrier yourself. What do you think about that? Are you excited to have Rel as your support?
I mean, I love Rel support. I think that champion is very powerful. There's always the potential to put it into the jungle, though, so we're not really positive where that's 100% going yet. But Rel and Ezreal's not really the AD carry I would pair with Rel. I would like to see something more along the lines of like a Kai'Sa or a Xayah, someone who those champions still have safety from Jarvan, and they combo a lot better with Rel, but we'll just have to see how they pull it off.
That was an instant Aurelia lock for us. Holy.
Yeah, so Empress of Blades, the mid laner for Dynasty Sapphire, is an Aurelia one trick. So I'm kind of surprised that they left that open, I'm not going to lie. But
definitely trying to lock it in before second set of bans there then.
Yeah, and we do have the Draven and Syndra coming out for Spectre Gaming. Draven, one of those champions that does really well into Ezreal and doesn't perform too poorly into Rel. It's really a skill matchup between the support and the AD carry there, because he can stop the Rel engage with his E, but he can't stop the Q. So if he gets too close and gets Q'd by Rel, then you're in a little bit of trouble. But Draven's damage output compared to Ezreal a lot higher. So that bot lane can get really volatile really fast depending on what SG picks for their support. So we're just going to have to see what they do. But yeah, so Sly, I guess to get to know you real quick, what is your main? Because I have you added somehow. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how.
Bro, shut up! You know, we played a whole split of VTL together.
Did we? What team were we on?
You can't be serious.
What team were we on? Oh,
we played with Sincere. I was.
Oh yeah. Okay. Dude, I'm not gonna lie.
Holy smokes!
I'm not gonna lie, man. It's been a hot. I don't even talk to Sincere anymore. Okay,
I'm so hurt emotionally.
He's still on my friends list. But what was our team called?
I don't remember. It was like an Ashe meta. You were playing Ashe every game.
I hated
was
that.
Playing, like, front. It was a very front to back meta. I don't
Yeah.
know. We were some goddess from like Middle Eastern times.
Well, no, that's impossible. Because my
Yeah.
my
No,
team
it's
is
not.
literally called team or Knights of Ishtar, which is a god from the Middle Eastern.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was some Ishtar name.
Oh, did you sub in?
We weren't Knights of Ishtar. No, I was your jungle the whole season, dude.
There's no
Dude,
way.
Frost, you're just digging deep here,
No, no,
dog.
I am.
promise.
I am.
Dude,
I am.
hope Ito is listening to this, because this is...
I have
I'm
to
a
look
little
back.
hurt.
I have to look back in the BTL.
This was like 2020.
Okay.
2020,
I mean, that's
21.
3 years ago, man.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. I definitely knew who you were, so...
Well, that's good to know.
Good to know that I'm unmemorable, man. Thanks,
dude, my friends list is
I'm trying to
extensive.
think of who else was on our team, though, because I really don't remember. Our mid laner was a really simple name that was like one of the highest elo players in all of BTL.
Yeah, I don't remember that season at all. I'm not gonna lie, because the only
Jaw,
time
it was Jaw was our mid laner.
Shaw, I don't. Huh. All right. Well, while we're trying to dig that up, let's take a look at the bands that got locked
Sejuani
in.
ends up getting picked. That makes a lot of sense with the Aurelia. Akali again.
I think that's an Akali
Picking
top.
up more melees. Regardless, but you get the Akali with the Sejuani. You're getting melees with Sejuani. You really like melee solo laners with Sejuani. Rel's probably going to be roaming a lot. I asked you about the Rel Ezreal more as a joke. He's obviously Rel isn't really good with Ezreal, so you're going to want to use that Rel to be able to lane around or move around lane. Renata is a really like sweet pickup here for the Aurelia Akali. I really like that pick. I think that's an excellent pick. I don't know anything about the Camille Akali matchup, but I imagine you're not upset as Camille playing into Akali. You should scale and be able to outduel her eventually.
100%. And also, going back to that Renata pick, honestly, I think that Renata pick is the best pick for SG this game. The entire side of Dynasty Sapphire, all melee champions, minus Ezreal. So her ultimates, her hostile takeovers, going to be super crucial this game, and we need to be looking out for those ults and where this Renata's being placed in these team fights. Because if she hits 3 of those members, Dynasty Sapphire is screwed.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you throw down that ult as soon as Aurelia ult comes out, you should be fine. As long as we're not getting flanked by Akali, I don't really see how that really happens. Also, I mean, Akali a lot of times loves being able to be in those side lane splitting. I guess the question is, if you're DS, are you going to be able to establish the 1-3-1? Because obviously Camille Akali or Camille Aurelia, that's fine lane for Camille, but you don't really want Syndra in that side lane with either of those two champions.
Yeah, 100% not. I feel like SG is definitely going to go look for more of the 1-4, whereas Dynasty Sapphire, like you said, is going to be doing that 1-3-1. So it's really going to be down to how effective the 4-stack of Spectre Gaming is versus the 3-stack of Dynasty Sapphire. And if Dynasty Sapphire says, for some reason, to screw the 1-3-1 and they start grouping for team fights, I feel like that's Dynasty Sapphire's digging themselves a grave at that point, unless they have like a huge massive lead. But knowing both these teams, neither of these teams are really known for dropping these huge leads early on. So these games are I'm predicting that this series is going to be close throughout all the games that we have today. So it's definitely going to be on I think it's more on Dynasty Sapphire to play it correctly, whereas SG just needs to react to how they're playing.
Right. And, I mean, ultimately, like you were saying, though, it comes down to how much disengage can you get from Renata Syndra, how much can you really be able to move back, and a lot of it's going to come down to positioning to make sure that, you're not allowing Renata to be able to get dove on before she can get her ult off. You're not allowing people to get flanks, to get weird angles. If you can set it up to where you're getting a true front to back in your SG, you're really happy. And if you're able to make a chaotic team fight on DS, you're going to be very happy too.
Yeah, 100%. So, looking at both comps, who are you giving the edge to? Whose comp do you like more? And, like who has ease of execution?
As far as the composition is concerned, I'm really excited with the Durban front to back. I do think there's a lot of natural, like I was saying earlier, a lot of natural synergy with the Sejuani, Akali, Aurelia lanes, which I think Ezreal, like obviously they came into this game knowing they wanted to be playing for those lanes. Ezreal makes a lot of sense. He's going to be able to solo lane, essentially 1v2 that lane, and really shouldn't have any issues. So I don't know that I would, if it's in the early game, I would say DS definitely should have an edge. If SG is able to navigate the early game, give up a couple dragons, come out without a deficit or a very small deficit, I really like SG going in the later stages of the game. So I really do think this game gets decided in the first 14 minutes pre, plates going down. Because I think if I come out of that situation, I definitely want to be on an SG's side. But, if I also don't want to be Syndra getting Sejuani and Rel jumping at me from under my Raptors from behind turret,
Yeah, that something that we kind of like let go under the radar is the Syndra pickup here. Syndra really good at stopping melee champions from getting on top of your team just because of her E. It's pretty short cooldown, provides good CC and great pushback. So it might be a little bit difficult here for Dynasty Sapphire, even if they do get that gold lead that we were talking about, that we are predicting that they're going to get in the early game. It's going to really be hard for them to make plays around the Syndra. And if Syndra's in that four stack and not in the side lane where she shouldn't be, to be honest, then it might be a little bit difficult here. Because the siege power from Dynasty Sapphire, absolutely terrible. All you have is Ezreal.
Right. Yeah, and it's all burst. It's a burst team for sure, right? Yeah. If you're not blowing up a target, you're not going to have the sustained damage on Ezreal to really be able to take out some of these other targets. So Ezreal is nice. It's a good zoning tool. It's not a weak champion by any means, but certainly not someone who's really going to be played around in this game at all. It's all going to come down to can Aurelia Akali burst you with the CC they're going to get provided by Rel and Sejuani.
Yeah. All right. Well, just so you know, we're going to pause at 10 seconds when we get into the game, and that will be our sync up. And then when we're both ready, we'll unpause. But we're going to send it off to a break while we load into the Rift for Spectre Gaming versus Dynasty Sapphire, game number 1. So don't go anywhere, and we'll be back with you guys in about 3 minutes.
Here we go.
right, we are loaded into the rift for game number 1 between Spectre Gaming and Dynasty Sapphire. Sly, are you at 10 seconds? You can talk.
I thought that you were gonna start it whenever you started talking, so I pushed play. So give me just a second.
Yeah. I get yeah, because since I
right.
can't separate the tracks, this is the only way we can sync up.
All good. I'm ready whenever.
All right, 3, 2, 1, play. 11, 12, 13.
Good to go.
All right. So for those people that were not here for the draft between these teams, Spectre Gaming got some pretty decent picks for themselves. Jarvan is a very notable Vimstat pick. And Paint Licker, I believe, has already played some Draven games on his own, whereas Dynasty Sapphire did get that crucial Irelia, something that Empress of Blades has shown already in the season, that they are perfectly capable of handling that champion. And there's a lot of melee synergy for the Sejuani on the side of Dynasty Sapphire. But we do have some Summoner Spell mismatches, and notably, no one on Dynasty Sapphire has cleanse for this Rel takeover, so things can get a little dangerous here. But looks like we have a little bit of a scuffle trying to get some vision for the side.
Yeah, Jarvan just trying to get an understanding of what we're going to end up dealing with. You got Sejuani resetting, which usually would indicate to me that she's going to go back to blue side, which means we're going to get both of them pathing towards the same direction. If you're Jarvan here, you got two options. You either play to try to pick off Rel in the bot lane, or you just try to counter gank constantly the Sejuani. I'll be curious. I'm sure it looks like he's going to try to counter gank and play towards
that top
Camille
side
up here.
Yeah, and honestly, Camille getting the lead here, Camille can take over this lane very easily, and there's a point where if Camille gets strong enough, she can easily 2v1. So I definitely like the idea that Vimstat is going for, trying to get his solo laners ahead, because you know the Sejuani is going to be focused on those lanes. Just because of how they locked in their champions and the kind of style that Sejuani plays, that is 100% where that Sedge is going to be looking. But we might have an early gank here from Vimstat. Getting some pathing. He's going for this
play, dude.
Potential
He's
level 2
do it
gank
now
here.
before the level 2.
Yeah, they're walking forward. String Theory misses the W, and Praxi gets CC'd by Dr. Dad, and that's going to be Praxi's flash and exhaust going down. But first blood game picked up by the Renata, not the Draven. So a little sad to see there, but overall, though, pretty positive play for them.
That's exactly what you want to see. Before Ezreal's gotten his E up, it's an easy gank. Immobile, essentially ADC. Really, really nice play. Waiting for Rel to kind of go in before they get to counter engage, essentially. And well played throughout, just by Dr. Dad and Vimstat, and Paint Licker able to come up and just get some free kills.
Yeah, and Sejuani's trying to get a gank here on the mid lane, try to keep some tempo on Vimstat. But it's kind of a waste of time here. Learning is not shoved in at all. So overall, I think Spectre Gaming coming out on top in the first 3 minutes.
I do like Sejuani here now picking up Raptors. I think that's a smart play. If she can take Raptors, Krugs reset, and just clear towards bot side on top, it's not the worst play in the world, but I agree. There's just no point looking at the wave state. As soon as you finish Wolves, no reason to be up there.
Vimstat's looking on to forward spotted him out, and that's going to be them getting to safety. So that was honestly good for Vimstat there. He knew that Sejuani more than likely he's going to go into his jungle by revealing himself that early.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, forward.
I guess I'm just whipping the W. I think if he gets the W there, he might have a chance.
Yeah, now we have Sejuani coming in onto the flank of this bot lane, so Paint Licker and Dr. Dad have to be careful. Sphinx He's going forward, doesn't get the W though. Great E by Paint Licker, and now Dr. Dad saving Paint Licker. Paint Licker doesn't have flash though. He does have cleanse. He pops a cleanse to make sure he gets away. And that's going to be a trade of summoners in the bot side.
That Draven knockback as the Rel was eating in was very slick.
Yeah.
Great work by Paint Licker to kind of diffuse that gank, and ultimately it leads to a poor tempo play by Sejuani, who could have picked up Krugs, I think, and opts not to, instead to go for that gank, and now Sedge is down.
Yeah, and now we have another fight breaking out in the bot side. String Theocracy getting dropped super low, and Vimstat wasn't able to secure that scuttle though, so he's going to be down a level here. So I feel like Vimstat needs to get some farm underneath his belt to actually start contesting the Sedge.
The biggest issue here right now, if you're DS, is that you're not playing your game right. Like, that one gank comes out from Vimstat, and it's completely affected the way that Carlson has been playing Sejuani here, and hasn't even gotten to topside yet. Hasn't even had any impact on Akali in the top lane, who, quite honestly, could easily be diving this Camille, and he's working towards it now, but, yeah, it's a great play by Vimstat early on in that game to get that bot gank, because it's totally changed and influenced all the other lanes as a result.
Yeah, and Sejuani avoided a lot of vision there, but Camille's already going to pop the back because he does have TP. So I don't think that they can look for this dive anymore. So Akali's just going to back off, and finally Sejuani's going to go into our topside jungle.
Yeah, just a huge waste of time there. Sedge is just very inefficient so far. Unfortunately, trying to compensate for some stuff that has been going on. So we'll see if she can eventually kind of rework herself to have some impact. But so far, I mean, I guess they had the gank bot, but just hasn't been very influential.
All right, now we have
lane gank top.
Yeah, we have Jarvan with the lane gank. Sejuani is here, but they're going to spot Sejuani on the ward. So at this point, Jarvan's just here for a counter gank because he knows Sejuani's going to pass here, just with how far pushed up Swagasm is. Alright, let's see what happens here. Swagasm's going to try to E away, gets the stun onto Akali, and the ultimate gets dropped. Jarvan is here, misses the EQ combo onto Ford, but Ford is going to be dropped down to super low HP. Vimstat flashes forward to try to complete the kill, but he's not going to be able to get it. Flash forward by Swagasm to pick up a kill, and this should be a double for Swagasm. Overall, I'm going to say this is going to be a huge worth play for Spectre Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Camille, you're not upset there, right?
Yeah,
coming out of that, you're going to crash that wave in. Probably doesn't have teleport.
Yeah, neither Ford doesn't have it, neither does Camille. Camille isn't going to get the full crash here, so a potential freeze unless he steps forward again. Looks like he is on the minimap. But, I mean, things are looking good for Spectre Gaming. I think Spectre Gaming's in a poised position to also get this dragon. They are going to start it up here. Sejuani on the top side, no priority mid. So this should be the first dragon of the game for Spectre Gaming.
Not what you want to see if you're on the side of DG. You want to be have a lot more impact here. Is it DS? SG
Yeah.
and DS?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, not what you want to see here. Also losing control of vision over on this bot side. That's not the end of the world, but for having no camps on the whole top side of the map if you're Sejuani. It's okay for you to vertical if you're Sedge, but you can't be vertically at this stage whenever there's no camps. You're just going to continue to fall behind.
Yeah, I feel like Sejuani wasted a lot of time trying to stabilize bot when bot was kind of already stabilized. Like, once they survived that gank and Ezreal hit level 2 for his E, there's not a lot of kill pressure on him, but she tried to turn it around, and it just lost so much tempo that she could have had because the Jarvan did an early gank, which is good on him, but he did lose a lot of farm doing that. But she wasn't able to punish completely properly.
Well, it's going to work out now. She's got Gromp coming up, going to be able to take it. Looks like Ford's kind of getting a little bit of a skirmish here. Hopefully, if you're Sejuani, you're able to take those camps and look for some sort of action on Swagasm in the top lane.
Yeah,
Route coming up top side as well means they'll probably go for Herald here.
Yeah, this should be a Herald taken here for SG. A good movement there by String Thurocracy, just because they knew that they were in a vertical jungle state, to make sure that they guarantee that they get this Herald.
Also opens the door for Rel to be able to come.
Swagasm hit the E, but Swagasm hits his Q dodge by Ford. But Swagasm's going to pick up a solo kill there. What a great outplay, to be honest. I was surprised that actually turned to something.
So multiple things happened wrong there. Akali reactivating the E a little too quickly.
We do have a gank on the mid lane with Sejuani's ultimate, and Learning's going to get dropped here by Empress of Blades. Sorry. Yep, sorry.
No, you're right. It's, Empress of Blades going to be able to get a kill here, and that's not what you want to see if you're Syndra now having Lost Chapter. You shouldn't really be dying after you have Lost Chapter. Should be playing very safe, just being able to farm up with Qs because you have the mana sustain to be able to do that. So, unfortunate. Not something you want to hear if you're Draven, but
yeah. And
yeah, I think Camille is now, albeit a little behind from maybe some waves not being able to come to her in the right ways, but It's very, very big threat now in this game.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, for the side of Spectre Gaming, though, all hope isn't lost quite yet, because I really is one of those champions that can easily 1v9 if she gets a lead. So if they can continue to punish learning here, it can get really dangerous for Spectre Gaming. But now Ford is going to just get dropped dead when the Catalysm goes out, but he does pick up a trade kill there. So
yeah, Vimsat should have definitely just left that Cataclysm down and walked out a little earlier.
Yeah, I mean, overall though, it's still positive play for them because Akali doesn't have teleport. Camille's gonna be able to get the shove in, get some of that lost farm back, and Jarvan doesn't lose a lot of tempo here. Not a lot of his camps are up, so overall, Spectre Gaming has gotten that advantage there.
Right. I mean, Camille or excuse me, Aurelia gonna be able to walk up there too and catch the wave, and they'll get a lane swap. I'm not sure if they're gonna do a permanent lane swap or if it was just trying to catch waves.
Brawl has learning on the flank. That's gonna be learning most likely dead here. Ford is here, and the stun goes through, and that's gonna be a kill picked up for Ford.
Wow.
Learning getting a
little
little
there.
Yeah. That's going to be the Herald drop mid, get some plates onto Akali, trying to sustain that the gold gap right now. After that play, gold has gotten completely even for Akali and Camille. So,
right, and DS also takes the gold team lead by about 100, or yeah, about 100 gold, which they were not down much before, but definitely a big pickup there.
Yeah, we could see a potential play here. Dr. Dad does have hostile takeover. He's not going to pop it. The handshake does connect, but they're not going to look to dive. They're a little scared here, which, I mean, if I'm a Draven player, I always hate diving because if something goes wrong and you don't cash in, it is tragic.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's he sitting at?
270. He is. If he gets a kill, he will be a monster.
Yeah, so lanes, they don't opt to do a full-on lane change, which I think makes sense. I wouldn't be doing that either. But Ford definitely falling behind here pretty substantially. Divine Thunderer finished by Camille. Not that Akali's super far behind, but you know, down Mythic right now. Dragon's going to be spawning here in a second.
Yeah, Dragon's going to get started up here by SG. Crawl is here, but I don't think that they know how low this is. So that's going to be the second Dragon going over to Vimstat. And now a potential fight. A TP's coming in. Rel goes forward with the ultimate. They get a huge CC chain with Sejuani. And now Draven is most likely going to die here. That's going to be a lot of gold lost there on that passive. And a kill picked up by Aurelia. Exactly what you want to see it all. Now Dr. Dad is in danger from Strength Bureaucracy. And another kill on to Ford. So, I mean, the kills for DS are going exactly where they want. But the fight is not over. The play is not done. Swagasm got a little bit greedy. Aurelia ulti goes forward. He does drop the ult himself and flashes over the wall to try to stay alive. Now Empress of Blades has an angle onto learning. Swagasm could be in danger, but has the E to hit over the wall once again. And a great pushback there by learning not to get CC'd by Strength Bureaucracy.
Learning hit 2 major E's in that fight to disengage there, or else that's a lot worse fight for SG. Ultimately, I think you got to be wary of which way we're going to path out after we get Dragon. That's one of the always important questions you ask the team before you go into neutral objectives like that. But
yeah, Draven lost 200 stacks on that death.
What I was about to say, yeah. It feels bad. You were just talking about all the stacks and how good that was going to feel to catch in, and Bork picked up by Aurelia, so Merc Tread's Bork there for her is going to allow her to really be a threat to Syndra now.
Yeah.
2-0.
Ooh, learning could be in danger here. Empress Blades does not have the ultimate and has got to pop the flash to make sure he stays alive. But now we have a support roam here onto Swagasm. Ford could be looking for a kill angle here. Swagasm is in danger if he walks right into Strength Bureaucracy. He's going to get stunned by the Q, and the W knockup is coming in. It does connect, and now Swagasm is going to drop dead here. This dive should go through. The Kali E connects, and that's going to be a huge shutdown for Ford.
Big play. Definitely going to be able to crash that wave as well, which is nice. I don't have the timers on my Spec. So I don't know what the timer is on Herald, but I suspect it's almost up.
Yeah, Herald should be
30 seconds?
spawning in about 30 to 40 seconds. Ezreal's going to have to pop his flash to get out of that Cataclysm. And that's going to be the first tower dropping to SG. It's actually a tower race right now. They need the wave. Aurelia is looking to do it. But a TP is going to come into the mid lane. That should stop Irelia from getting that tower. And SG is actually going to give up on getting this first tower.
What is going on the map? It's just, if you're red team, I mean, look how many red pinks, how many red wards you see on the map, and then look how many blue. It just feels like...
I mean, they're playing on complete opposite sides, basically.
Well, yeah, but you've only got the 2 defensive pink wards, whereas if you're red side, you've got offensive pinks all over the place. You've got forward vision, really well established, great triangular vision. That's tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough to combat that sort of pick potential if you're SG.
Yeah, we are at the mid-game point right now. SG only down 1,000 gold, so it's kind of like where we predicted that they would be at before this game got started. So it's kind of... It's where they want to be, realistically. I mean, obviously, every team wants to be ahead in gold.
Dragons for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was what I did not expect. Was if you told me SG was going to come out with both the dragons in the early game, I would have said no. But that's nice. So I would say it's almost equalized because of that, which is good. If you're, the problem is you've got a 5-3 Akali and a 2-0 Aurelia.
Yeah, if they can get the shutdowns, though, it's not the end of the world. I want to see these shutdowns, honestly, onto Swagasm's Camille, because his Camille is going to be the only thing that can answer the side wave pressure. Like, yeah, it would be nice to get a Draven kill or a Cinder kill, but at this point, those 2 champions are just playing for items, waiting to scale. Because, like, Draven, the stereotypical early game AD carry, but he's also an ADC that once he gets his 3-4 item power spike, he's just going to start one-tapping people because of how much damage his Q delivers. But Vimsat going to jump right into Sejuani, gets the double E knock up there onto Ford, and that's going to be shut down going to over to Jarvan. And honestly, I'm surprised that he didn't get punished harder for that. Sejuani a little slow on that ultimate, and it allowed Jarvan to buffer that EQ, and resulted in the shutdown.
Both of them completely shocked to see one another right there, and crawl a little slow on the trigger, like you're saying, and ends up with Ford's life.
Yeah.
That was crazy. It was just so fast. It just dunked on, man. It was like an alley-oop. You got both Swagasm and Dimstat, Cataclysm, and whatever the heck Camille E is called. Just bada boom, bada bing. See you in the next life.
All right, looks like we're going to have a 5v5 for this dragon. We do have some pretty key ultimates up and some pretty key ultimates down. Sejuani's down, Akali's down, but we do have Rel's up. Vimstats is down. And right now, we do have a 1v1 in the top side. Swagasm's going on to Ezreal, and he's going to get pushed off by Ford while the dragon is still in contestation, but Empress of Blades could be in danger. Vimstat's going to miss the EQ, but Empress of Blades has to flash and get a huge Rel ultimate for the follow-up, but a hostile takeover to try to redeem the fight. A shutdown goes over to Draven. That's a 500 gold cash-in, and it's right now going to be a 1-4-1. Camille's entering the fight as we speak. Vimstat is low. A huge execution play there by Ford to pick up another. And now health bars are low. Camille is still full HP. They do have Dr. Dad for support. Learning is ready, but no ultimate on Learning either.
I don't love the way that they positioned that. They let Aurelia come and just cut them off, and rather than retreating back and resetting their formation, they try to engage on Aurelia, who kites back, throws down the ult, and is ultimately the whole engage, essentially.
We do have a TP coming in, another TP coming in. The Krell ultimate goes wide. Swagasm is trying to look for some form of damage. He eats forward onto Stringtherocracy, but that is the wrong target, bud, and he's going to be killed by Ezreal. And now Learning is in danger. He has mana, but he doesn't have health, and he's just going to die to Empress of Blades, and that's going to be the first dragon for Dynasty Sapphire picks up.
Dynasty Sapphire, I mean, Empress of Blades able to basically 1v9 that fight. Comes in on the side, has huge impact with her ult. Able to get the whole flank off.
Ooh, Empress of Blades trying to dive with Ford, but they could be in danger, but the execution E hits, and that's going to be a kill for Akali.
Ford survived? Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, Vimstat's looking now. I feel
Vimstat
like
can do it either.
I feel like SG is like in panic mode right now.
They just need to slow down. Like I was saying, very organized front to back. So how they're gonna have to win this game. And whenever you try to go off on one target while you have a potential flank angle from another target or area, you just can't do that. So have to be a little more disciplined in their front to back if they're going to be able to work their way back in. But now, what, a 3k gold lead? starting to kind of separate between the two teams. Akali very strong now.
Yeah,
2 items.
Akali is super powerful. I don't think Camille can really answer that side lane pressure anymore until we get some more gold on her.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically a full half item lead for Ford in the top lane. I will say, though, the experience battle is very interesting in this game. I mean, Paint Liquor at level 9 here on the Draven, whereas Prey is level 12, essentially equal to the solo laners. Don't really love to see that, especially just considering Strength Theocracy hasn't really been... I'm not sure how that happened, because it didn't feel like Strength Theocracy was roaming that much other than the one hero play.
Yeah, he did roam top, I think, another time, resulting in Ford getting another kill. So he's run like 2 or 3 times top side. Versus Dr. Dad not roaming at all, really, but it's kind of hard to roam on a champion like Renata compared to the pressure that Rel does have.
No, yeah, you can't match it either. I mean, understandable. My point is just, you'd like to see something more get earned off of that rather than being down just a flat 3 levels. Learning. Oh boy, learning.
Yeah, learning gonna drop dead there on the 1v1 to Empress of Blades. I was shooting top side for some reason because I thought a play was gonna happen there, so I didn't actually see that play go down. But
yeah, I mean, basically, the quick and dirty of it was Aurelia threw her ultimate and then killed her.
Swagazm's going to miss the E. Strength Theocracy is here. He drops the ultimate onto the Rel, but Swagazm's just going to die, and now Dr. Dad and Vincent have to run away. They don't have the damage to do with Ford. The Madden Storm's going to go down to pull them both in, and Dr. Dad could be dead. Hostile Takeover only hits 1, and his extra person doesn't connect, but that's going to be a kill. No, Dr. Dad gets out, surprisingly, and now Rel is in danger to the Draven. That's going to be another cash in for Draven. And maybe they can continue to push this fight forward. Learning is going to TP in. But Ezreal is just right now pushing hard in the mid lane along with Aurelia in the side. They're trying to get plays where they can get them. That's going to be a shutdown for Learning, and Krell could be dead here. Paint Licker's looking, but he's not able to connect the flash over by Learning to make sure that he can kill the Sejuani. Nice. But I mean, you just lost like 3 towers for that play.
Yeah, it's definitely not worth. Unfortunately, when you look at the gold charts, you picked up several kills, but you're now down another 1,000 gold. 2 players on red side were able to get the 500 gold bonus from the single person takedown of tier 2 towers. Just not, doesn't end up being worth. But as far as morale goes, it's probably pretty helpful. If you're Paint Liquor, you're feeling a lot better now.
Yeah, 100%. Paint Liquor definitely getting that gold under his belt. Already has 2 items completed, halfway done with his 3rd. And now they're going to start a fight on Rel. Rel could be in danger. He is here alone, but Swagazm's going to drop it because he doesn't have vision in that topside jungle to actually confirm. I think with some stabilization, though, SG can definitely still pull out on top in this game. Just because they already secured those 2 early dragons, surprisingly.
Right.
And they have the comp. They have the team fight. A lot of Dynasty Sapphire's team revolves around that 1-3-1. They do have a lot of team fight pressure, but I feel like SG's team fight is just stronger if they can equalize the gold.
Speaking of equalizing gold, let me read you off the differential between the laners. So, in the top lane, Camille has 7.6k. Akali has 9.9k, about to be 10k. So about a 2.5k difference in the top lane for Akali. In the mid lane, you've got 10.7k for Aurelia, 8.8k from Cinder. So about a 2k gold lead in the mid lane. While Dragon's getting taken down.
Yeah, they're doing a Dragon for Baron. They're doing a Dragon Baron trade, but if they can get over to this Dragon fight, maybe we see some contestation. The hostile takeover is alive. They're stuck in a pit. This Baron is going down super slow. They have to know that they're here. Swagazm gets vision with the teleport. But Baron's going to drop.
Don't do it. Yeah. Don't do it.
But now Vincent looking forward. Dr. Dad is here. They do have hostile takeover. This could be a potential fight angle. Hostile takeover is going to go out. Hits 1, but only 1. So, I mean, a Baron for Dragon. They do get soul point, and they got a tower. So, not terrible, but not great.
Right. This Baron is going to be very threatening with no inhibitor mid. looking like it's going to be a reset. Well, if you're blue side, you still got a chance. You got to stabilize this. It looks like they're going to probably split up. Akali looking like she's going to go set up mid lane, which makes sense. If you're DS, you want to take that mid inhibitor with one person and then rotate that one person down towards bot side to create pressure down there.
Yeah.
Empress of Blade very far up here.
But this is also exactly how SG wants to play. They want to force fights on either while there's numbers disadvantages, but they might not be able to just because of the Baron pressure and the gold lead. It's almost 5k at this point. They're trying to look for something on the Ford. Ford is alone, gets stunned by learning, but nothing's going to really commit there while Empress of Blades is going on the Swagasm. And now we have a potential fight on the top side. Vincent goes forward with his EQ, only hits one. Empress of Blades drops the ultimate to dissuade more fighting. And it's just really a trade of some cooldowns there.
Yeah, big play there by learning able to disengage that, because that was a very, very scary threat by Empress of Blades. Good job there as well by Vinstat to be able to kind of threaten enough, not die, and create some pressure so they have to pull off on the top side. So first wave of Baron able to be thwarted there by blue side. So yeah. Now we've got Brawl coming down, Jarvan basically just lost every single camp. That's feels so bad as a jungler.
Yeah, but he does have his 2 core items, so he is still strong. He's just not going to be, like, he's not like 1v9 strong like you see a lot of Jarvans in solo queue. And Baron, only 40 seconds left, so they shouldn't be able to get much more. Maybe that mid inhibitor will fall just because they're grouping a lot of members there right now. But they are starting the 1-3-1, so SG could look for a potential fight in the mid lane or onto Ford here. Oh, we do have a fight going forward. Swagasm gets the ultimate dropped onto Ezreal, and they're going so deep with the Jarvan Cataclysm. Paint Licker's trying to follow up. He flashes forward to try to pick up a kill. That's one shutdown grab. Dr. Dad drops down the hostile takeover to hit all 3 members, but they're dropped so low. And Learning lost the 1v1 in the bot side, so that might be a game-ending push, a game-ending play right there. Paint Licker's...
Instead going really deep essentially for Ez just doesn't make sense. Ezreal is not the carry. The 1-in-1 Ezreal is not the threat.
Yeah.
Just too deep.
Ooh, so Faint Licker getting the 1v1 onto Krail, but it's a little too late. It's over. That's gonna be game 1 for Dynasty Sapphire. Faint Licker's gonna look to try to stop it, but it's not stoppable. All right. Well, I mean, a pretty banger first game. A lot of action in the early game. I like to see it. I just want to see SG kind of clean it up because they had a lot of potential, like just with how badly the Sejuani kind of answered the path into Jarvan there. And I feel like they can crack open the game, but I do not want to see Empress of Blades get Irelia again. That is her one. That is her one trick.
Yeah, I think if you're going back to the drawing board, you want to isolate. You want to make sure mid lane isn't a threat in the same way that it was all game, as well as you can't let Akali take over the game quite like that.
Yeah, it can definitely be detrimental there. It looks good in a lot of aspects, especially in the top side. I'm honestly surprised that Akali got that fed with how fed the Camille was, but maybe it was just like some micro mistakes there to allow the Akali to get some kills and some major macro mistakes later on. But we are going to send it off to a break while we get things ready for game number 2. So we'll be back in a few minutes, and don't go anywhere.
Why do I feel like I linger? Linger between the words to say the words to remember. Now we're here to take control over your body and over your soul. We're gonna take back everything and lose it all. Lose it all. Lose it all. Feel it in your arms. Feel it in your legs. Feel it on your fingertips and feel it in your head. Just let your body go. Just let your body go. Just let your body go and move to the rhythm. Now we won't go back home today, until the very last hour. We still got a few more days to slay, It's gonna get so much louder. Now we're here to take control over your body and over your soul. We're gonna take back everything and lose it all. Lose it all. Lose it all. Feel it in your arms. Feel it in your legs. Feel it on your fingertips and feel it in your head. Just let your body go. Just let your body go. Just let your body go and move to the rhythm.
right, everybody, we are in it for game number 2 between Dynasty Sapphire and Spectre Gaming. I am joined by Sly. How did the dog go?
Calmed him down, so we're good.
All right, well, Dynasty Sapphire going to go strong with a lot of jungle bans here. Maokai and Diana taken off the table for Vimstat, where Spectre Gaming has taken away the Jarvan. They don't want to first pick Jarvan, and crucially taken away that Irelia from Impressive Blades. So, about time. I don't know how they
that indicates they want to ban Akali too, if I'm being honest. Otherwise, I would have banned our R3 Irelia always, because I would... well, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
What?
I want to...
Oh, like a potential Swagasm or learning playing Irelia.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's just... well, interesting. So leaving Akali up. So, just statistically, right? I don't know if you were able to show to the cast, to the broadcast, the damage charts, but Akali by far did the most damage in the game.
Okay.
So I'm curious what the decision making is there to ban Rel and leave up.
I mean, Rel in team fights is a big issue, so I don't see an issue with the Rel ban. And Akali is kind of one of those champions where I feel like to play it, you have to have the correct matchup. And as long as they don't open up that matchup for the Akali, I feel like Spectre Gaming will be fine, whereas Irelia can be played in a lot more matchups, and Impressive Blades one trick, versus Akali's not really anyone's one trick. That's just the pick that they had, it seemed, for the Camille. But we are going to see the Jinx locked in first pick for Dynasty Sapphire, answered by the Milio, and more than likely an AD carry here, is what I would want to see anyways from Spectre Gaming, and looks like we will get that. So Ashe, really powerful into Jinx. Jinx has no mobility to speak of, and you get a lot of range advantage with that Milio campfire as well. But they're going to swap it. These guys hate me. Aphelios still great. Okay, Aphelios a lot better of a hyper carry than Jinx is, and has massive range leads over the Jinx, especially with they paired with Milio. So
yeah, interesting. What do you see as a support pick to go against Milio with Jinx?
Well, there's Rakan. Rakan's a little bit iffy though, because Milio can stop the Rakan. I would have liked to seen something like a Lulu, another Enchanter. Rakan's okay, but Milio can mitigate a lot of what Rakan's trying to do. He can get rid of the charms. He can get rid of the engage with a well-placed fireball.
Wow.
So overall, it's going to be really a skill matchup in the bottom lane, but we are going to have the Cassante locked in for Dynasty Sapphire that can go mid or top, and Orianna is going to be the blind pick answer for SG. And now we do have the Akali ban, it looks like. So
was Ori banned last game, Frost?
No.
So Cassante was definitely banned last game.
Yeah, Cassante was banned.
I find those to be two of the stronger laners in their respective lanes, so I think it's interesting and probably good to see them getting picked right there at B3 and R3. Nocturne getting removed, interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They're trying to take away items for Vimstat to pair with Orianna. I think that's what they're trying to do. Jarvan's already off the table. Nocturne is one of those champions that can work with Orianna just because of the paranoia. So they're really just trying to limit down Vimstat's pull here and try to force him onto more than likely some full tank that he's not really accustomed to playing. He's more of like the bruiser / carry jungler player. But we do have the respect ban of the Akali that we were talking about. So Dynasty Sapphire not going to get that Akali. And Dr. Mundo for the ban. That's kind of interesting. I don't... Maybe that's a counter to Cassante, but I don't think Cassante loses any lane. I'm not going to lie. So
right. I don't know. It makes sense to see a bruiser out of top lane, given the composition so far. You have so much damage between Orianna and Aphelios. You really don't need a lot more. Poppy being locked in. Don't know if that's going to be I don't know how that matchup is actually. Poppy makes some sense into Cassante. I was going to say I don't love it.
It could be a Poppy flex in the jungle as well, just trying to hide their pick. I don't think it's terrible into the Cassante, so maybe they're just trying to see what their jungler is going before they commit to something for Vimstat. And if they can get a better top matchup because Poppy just dominates whatever jungle matchup they do, then they can easily do that. We are going to have the Lux.
Into Ori.
Yeah.
Pick.
Yeah, Lux has the range advantage, right?
Right. So you see Lux into some of the pseudo mid-range caster, so Lux is considered a strong pick into Victor. At higher elos, I haven't seen it picked into Orianna, but it makes sense. It's kind of the same concept.
That
So
is
you
going to
should be able to
be...
just abuse. Wow.
That is a Yi picked in for Dynasty Sapphire, the first Yi of BTL Season 15. I hate it. I already hate it. I hate Yi. I hate that champion. I hate everything that he does. And
Is it a disrespect pick, Frost?
I feel like it has to be. Because if that Poppy goes top lane, which it looks like it is going to go to the jungle, but Gwen is actually really strong into Cassante. Poppy not terrible into Master Yi, but it doesn't have a lot of ways to stop Master Yi. There's not a lot of CC on SG's side that Yi has to worry about. So that Yi, if he gets fed or gets any form of lead, he can go uncontrollable really fast.
Yeah. So the positives here, if you're Spectre Gaming, you can send him to Narnia pretty quickly with a little swift kick in the Poppy rear, booting him away. I do like the zone control tools from Dynasty Sapphire. I don't understand the Yi pick with the composition.
Yeah.
If you're going to play Yi, I get it, but you got to have other tools, and I don't think that those tools exist in this game.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I feel like SG's side is a lot stronger and a lot more in their advantage than the game one. Like, yeah, they have some problem children to deal with, like Cassante, like Jinx, but, I mean, Gwen, super powerful into Cassante. Really hard for Cassante to really match that damage output that Gwen has. Poppy, great at taking out carries out of the fights with her ultimate, as you were saying. So even if Yi becomes a problem, maybe they can look to play around the Poppy ultimate. And Orianna and Ophelia is just super powerful late game carries.
I'm excited to, honestly, I think the lane I'm most excited about in this game is Empress of Blaze versus Learning, Orianna versus Lux. Gonna be a very interesting lane, and I want to see Empress of Blades be able to take it to Learning just like Empress did last game.
Yeah.
I think she can do it on this counter pick into Orianna. Now, will she? That's another question. Will she get put out of position and get susceptible to Poppy ganks? Possibly. But it's not like Poppy Orianna is a massive, ganking threat to you if you're Lux. Poppy, if you haven't wasted your Q, Poppy can't really get onto you if you're Lux. You just Q her. As long as you don't get flash E'd on, she's not very threatening. And it's going to be very hard for anyone on the side of Spectre Gaming to be able to get on top of the Lux or the Jinx, if you're being honest. So,
yeah,
I think it'd be a matter of which carries get to carry.
Yeah, I feel like it's more of a front to back style for SG. They have the Poppy, they have the Gwen, they have the zone control from Orianna, just like how Lux has zone control. But overall, it's really just going to come down to the team fights.
The other lane I'm curious about, you said that Gwen is pretty good into Cassante?
Hold on. Sorry, somebody's asking me for a rule check.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Just to go back on it. So Master Yi into Poppy. Anytime Poppy gets caught out, Master Yi can kill her. Poppy doesn't really want to be in a 1v1 versus Master Yi. Especially, I suspect it'll be a lethal tempo Master Yi, so extended fights don't go well for Poppy. Poppy typically takes, what's Dark Harvest? She can take Dark Harvest, she can take, what's the spell that gives you movement speed after 3 abilities? She can take that one as well. Those are kind of the 2 common ones on Poppy Jungle. Master Yi should take lethal tempo and be pretty much just this game. If you're Dynasty Sapphire, you don't really want to do anything for the first 18-20 minutes of the game.
Yeah, you want to make sure you're not falling too far behind, especially with that Yi. But it looks like we do have a Poppy into the Cassante unless they trade.
Gwen Jungle.
Yeah, the rule check.
I like that more. That makes more sense to me.
Yeah, Gwen Jungle has a lot of damage. Poppy's gonna be able to stabilize that lane if necessary. There's always maybe the teams are talking though. They always have up to 30 seconds before loading in starts to where they can swap it up if they feel like it. But I would really like to see the Gwen against the Cassante, just because Gwen has so much true damage in her kit. She has a lot of magic damage. She can avoid a lot of damage with her W, especially with Cassante having that ranged Q. And that Thread the Needle ultimate, very powerful into Cassante just because of his low mobility.
right? And I just don't see how it gets used in team fights. Well, I guess you Oriana Ball into Thread the Needle. That is actually probably very strong, especially affiliates. There's actually a lot of AoE on the side of Spectre Gaming. It doesn't really look like it because there's not a, I mean, other than Ori Ball, there's not one major CC ability, but there is a lot of AoE damage between Ori, Gwen, and Aphelios that's going to be able to come through.
Yeah, and it looks like we are going to have the locked in Poppy Top Gwen jungle, so
Wow.
we'll have to see what happens. It's really carry jungle versus carry jungle, and Poppy's there to neutralize the Cassante lane just because Cassante is so powerful in those 1v1s, and to make sure that their Gwen can get ahead. All right.
Poppy,
any final remarks before we send it off to a break?
no, it should be interesting. I'm a big Poppy fan, so go Poppy.
All right, well, we're going to send it off to a break while we load into the rift for game number 2 between Dynasty Sapphire and Spectre Gaming. We will be back with you guys in about 3 minutes, so don't go anywhere.
I'm on my own, broken alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found, but you don't care, you're unaware. Keep moving like the scars aren't even there. It's in the air like a blazing flare. Just stare 'cause the flames will burn us. I thought you were the one for me. That's why I gave you everything. Held you close by the stormy seas. Oh, you meant the world to me. I used to kiss your head when you cried for me. Hold your hand while the pain was over. Keep you warm by the roaring sea. You meant the world to me.
All right, everyone, we are loaded onto the rift for game number 2 between Dynasty Sapphire and Spectre Gaming. I am joined by Sly. Sly, are you ready?
All ready, dude.
All right, 3, 2, 1. 11, 12, 13.
That's good.
All right, here we go. We do have a lot of summoner spells mismatched in today's game. We have a ghost instead of a flash for Cassante in the top side. We have a ghost instead of a flash for the Gwen in the jungle. And then we have a ghost exhaust in the bot lane versus a heal exhaust. So a lot of mobility here for Spectre Game or for Dynasty Sapphire, whereas Spectre Gaming going those more standard summoner spells that you see in your day-to-day games.
Yeah, I think. Oh, my voice cracked for one, but I think I like Prey taking Ghost here. How do you ever get onto Prey with Ghost other than Prey mispositioning and getting hit by an Ori ball? You know.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good summoner spell for the Gwen Poppy. Now,
Yeah.
I do like the Gwen having Ghost. I think that's probably going to be a pretty clutch summer spell, but with the Ghost changes, I just don't think it's as good on junglers as it used to be with getting the resets and whatnot that it used to have.
Yeah, 100%. It goes a lot weaker in every role, realistically speaking. But we are going to have both junglers starting the top side solo, but they have no vision of it, so neither jungler knows where each other is starting, and they're not going to get any info from the laners just because of the no leashes.
Good trades coming out from bot lane. I think it's an interesting pathing to start Raptors red for Gwen and no leash. I'm not personally as a jungler. I'm not a fan of no leash starts in competitive.
Oh, I am. Screw leashes.
The reason being is because you actually lose a lot of efficiency on your clear speed whenever you don't have a leash. People really underestimate how big of a deal that is. I guess I'm getting kind of tossed around like a beach ball at a Nickelback concert in the top lane there, but I'm not a fan of it personally because I do think it sets you behind a lot more than people realize, but I do like the partial clear one side and go to the other side. That used to be a common clear whenever Predator was meta in the jungle. You would do that, go back, get your boots, which Gwen ends up getting Dark Steel, so it's kind of the same concept. It's about the same amount of gold. So I'm a fan of that. I think it's a good start here. Interesting to see the pathing from both junglers here. Since it's kind of a strange jungle matchup.
Yeah, Vimstat, one of those junglers, especially this season, he loves the early backs. Like, he loves doing these clears to where he can back, get an early buy, whether it be a Doran's Ring or a Doran's Blade or a Dark Steel in this instance. So, not surprised to see that from him. But we do have a lot of rough trading here in the top side for Swagasm. The Poppy pick, it's used to stabilize the lane, but he is taking a beating right now.
Yeah, it's kind of getting thrown around a little bit up there. Not what you want to see if you're getting that counter pick into Cassante, but Gwen, is she taking Crab down there? I was a little surprised Crawl is so slow and he's clear that... Wow, I can't believe that's... We're all going to come through mid lane and go.
We do have a fight happening on Swagasm and Ford. They're trying to get some rough trades while learning it gets pushed away mid lane by the Yi and Lux. He's going to be routed all the way into his own topside jungle before he can actually be safe.
Yeah, so... I don't understand if Crawl was just...
Oh, is Swagasm about to get 1v1? He gets knocked back by Ford. Ford pops the ghost, and he's just going there for an auto, but he's going to give the kill over to the Yi. Smart play there by Ford.
Jeez. Not what you want to have happen if you're Swagasm. You really don't want to be giving Yi these early kills, obviously. But what I was going to say, Frost, was that I don't understand what was going on with Crawl that he got so far behind. I mean, Vimset reset, was able to do a full clear and take Crab before Yi was able to even finish his Raptors after red. So I don't understand what the pathing was. I don't know if I missed something.
Yeah, Crawl went red and then immediately tried to gank bot. Is what you missed.
I missed that.
Yeah, but Crawl trying to get that repeat gank onto Swagasm. Swagasm was able to outplay it and get a lot of damage onto Crawl, but Crawl should be on reset here. So not the end of the world. for him, and it's not going to really affect his clear too much, but this could give a potential for Gwyn to get some of jungle camp stolen, like the Gromp. He is putting drops on the Gromp. While we have a fight breaking out by Paintlicker and Dr. Dad, they got some massive damage onto this Jinx. But yeah, so Swagasm able to outplay that regank there, and it's going to open up Vimstat able to steal a lot of jungle camps, or at least one, maybe two, if he wants to greed for it, but looks like he's just going to stick with the one for now.
Coming up top here, too. Has a great angle on Ford. See if they can convert this.
Yeah, Ford isn't aware Vimstat's here, so it's going to be a 2v2. He doesn't have Flash, he doesn't have Ghost, he doesn't have anything, and he's going to get pushed further into his lane, and Ford is probably going to die here. He's trying to run over to Crawl. Can Crawl turn this around? He does have some great damage. Vimstat's going to be taken super low. The Alpha Strike goes out, and that's going to be a kill picked up for Crawl, and a potential double here. Swagasm does have the Flash to get away if he needs to, but that is a worst case scenario for SG. Oh, Swagasm, what are you doing, buddy? He stepped up, gets the ult. He has to pop the flash forward by Crawl. Crawl's trying to pick up another kill. He does Alpha Strike, and that's going to be a kill, and he's not going to die thanks to Meditation.
Meditate. Oh, man. Yeah. So, we asked if Crawl was a meme on the Master Yi. It is not a meme. Well, it might be...
It might be a meme, but it's working. It's a working meme.
Them. Yeah, it's gonna work. And 3-0 Yi at 6 minutes is nothing you want in any ELO and League of Legends.
Yeah, absolutely insane. He's gonna be a force to be reckoned with. He is down 20 CS, but at the end of the day, you'll take being down 20 CS and up 3 kills.
100%. Upsetting. To see that if you're up there, a Swagasm now 0-2 with the counter pick Poppy down about 2 waves. Now the positive here of Vimstat up a full clear on Crawl at this point. Again, I guess it comes from strength, theocracy, just living on the edge here.
Yeah, he's going to walk right into Vimstat. He could be in danger from Learning. Learning does have his ultimate. He's going to pull the ball over, but not getting any range. And that's going to be Lux's ultimate going down and almost destroying Learning's health bar.
Millie are going to heal him up just a little bit, and Learning still has some potions, so Learning will be okay. Dragon looking like it may go over to Vimstat. He on top side here, getting sussed out by Swagasm.
Yeah, so that's going to be first Dragon for SG. So, I mean, that honestly, with how far back that they got with those 3 early kills, but a flash, was that Strength actually flashing over on top of Swagasm? But nothing came of it. That's such a wasted summoner spell. And now Prey could be in danger here. Paintlicker is trying to get as much platings as he can. He has a red-white form, and the Gwyn is here. But right now, Gwyn is more focused on trying to get as much CS lead as they can onto this E because they know that they're on this Herald. All right, so game state right now, what is the best way for SG to avoid the Yi here? Because you don't want to be making plays around this Yi. Oh, well, right before we go to that though, we do have a gank onto Learning. Learning's gonna have to pop his flash. The Ghost from Ford, he's still chasing, and Ford's gonna use his ultimate to dodge the Orianna ultimate, and now Learning could be in danger, but they're walking right into Paintlicker and Dr. Dad, and this could be huge for Paintlicker and Vimstat if they can turn this around. Vimstat drops the ultimate, picks up 1, and now Ford is in danger. He's not gonna be able to get away from this. And that's going to be a double kill for the Gwyn, so a lot of redemption there to make sure that he can stay into this game.
He able to pick up a kill up top on Swagasm while that's going on too. Interesting situation. So Ford really nice ultimate to basically avoid Learning's ultimate, keeping him from getting the pullback from towards the ball. But then isn't able to really secure enough damage by the time Dr. Dad gets there, able to peel back. Milio really, between Milio and the shielding from just natural shielding from Learning, able to really just stay at a pretty high health. I don't think Learning was ever really in critical danger there the whole time. Maybe an overcommitment.
Yeah.
And SG able to come out on top of her, at least on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, if we take a look at the gold right now, Yi, 4,500, whereas Gwyn only has 3,800, so almost a 1K gold lead for just the jungler alone, and that basically is the gold lead for the game right now.
It is, and again, we'll see if he's going to be able to capitalize. I think the problem is just like we talked about earlier. Well, I guess
we do have a little bit of
a
noodle fight happening on the top side.
But the problem is I just don't. Crawl he's not exactly dominating in the jungle as far as clearing his camps, right? So he's down a level to Vimstat. You really like to see him pretty much taking over the game at this point with the amount of gold that he's gotten into his pocket, because he should be able to clear, theoretically, he should be able to clear a lot faster, having that extra gold in his pocket. However, he's down 2 full clears, 2 CS from 2 full clears, so 16 CS is a full clear in the jungle. Each camp being worth 4, there being 4 total camps on the map. So you've got a 30 CS lead in the jungle, essentially, which is essentially 2 full clear rotations that Vimstat is up. That's a crazy stat line this early in the game. At 10 minutes, you don't want to be down.
Yeah,
clears.
The good news is
coming out in the experience, right?
Yeah, I mean, the good news is Krail, while that play was happening bot side, he was able to pick up 3 plates in top. So that's why we see such a massive gold lead in the jungles, because those 2 kills that Vimstat got neutralized the kill lead. But the towers were able to further expand that even more. And I don't know how important Yi cares about levels when he can just have all the items in the world, though. So I don't know if a half a level lead is going to really be that impactful there. But now we have another fight happening for Ford and Swagasm. Ford is going to pop the ultimate onto Swagasm. Swagasm's going to have to flash away. And that is going to be his summoner spell Balone, a pretty huge one. Now, Crawl's walking right into Vimstat. Vimstat's going to get absolutely chunked. I think Vimstat could be dead here. Alpha Strike goes out, and that's going to be a kill for Crawl. That's going to be a solo kill. Crawl picks up a double, flashes out, and stays alive because of the meditate.
Crawl just says, fly, you big idiot. I'm the best Yi player in the world. 6-0 Master Yi. That's Crawl!
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was saying, though. Like, the levels don't really matter when your Yi is up can't cuss on this. He's up a Blade of the Ruin King and boots.
Is this After Dark? Is this the After Dark stream? Hold on, Ito.
Alright, so who do you think is going to get the second dragon?
Well, the question is, will Crawl be the dragon?
Yeah.
If Crawl's there, I think it's pretty predetermined. I will say as well, and we talked about this, but I do think the zoning tools from Lux are pretty much the deciding factor of what's going to be able to happen. And right now, Lux sitting at no, I don't have timers, but Lux has no mana, so she has to reset. So this is a great opportunity for SG to come snag Dragon. You got Poppy down here too. Looks like they're going to be able to get it for free. Yeah, bad reset timings if you're on the blue side.
Once again, it feels like Dynasty Sapphire has leads, and they're just dropping these dragons. Like dragons matter. And like, I don't care how fed your Yi gets. If the gold lead doesn't continue to grow and they get soul, that can be game ending. And now Empress of Blades is in danger. It does get the ulti dropped onto her, brought down to about 200 HP, and it's going to have to reset immediately.
We're all up top here looking to try and dive Swagasm, but this Swagasm's going to be able to get away. The tower's very low up there.
Yeah, Ford's going to be able to secure the first tower with Master Yi's help, while Paint Licker and Dr. Dad more than likely try to get a trade here if they don't try to go for this kill. But it looks like they're just going to get a trade of the towers. So, not terrible for SG. It does suck that you lose that first tower, though, because that is a lot of gold being influxed into the Cassante and Yi. And those are 2 champions you do not want to see fed. I mean, one of them is already fed, so it's going to get really dangerous.
The other scary thing, too, is Swagasm's pretty far behind as far as, like, getting items. And he has a less gold than Milio right now.
There's no way.
Check it. Check my stats by about 10 gold. So that's not what you want to see, right? And so when the problem is, right, Crawl's going to be able to just absolutely annihilate you front to back. And if you're not tanky, Like, you probably needed to just screw the Divine Sunderer and go full tank at this point. I mean, maybe you have to have that to be able to exist in the side lane. I don't want to speak to Poppy top because I don't really play that. I play Poppy jungle. But I don't see how you're going to be able to not get melted by this Master Yi shoving however many blades he has up your bumhole, you know? It's just not good.
Yeah, and also Master Yi is going for the Dustblade build, so when he gets these kills and gets these resets, he's going to be so much harder to actually lock down just because he can go invulnerable for 1.5 seconds. So he's itemizing in a 1v1 or 1v9 fashion. Like, he's here to just put the team on his back and just ensure that they win this series. And he's going to pick up the second Herald of the game. So we're going to see what he can do with that. Try to open up the map a little bit more so you can start getting pressure on these Drakes. Because if you don't start getting these Drakes, it is an Infernal Soul. There's a lot of poke damage from SG through the Orianna and Aphelios. And you cannot let them get the Soul.
Yeah. 2k gold differential in the top lane as they're exchanging poke in the mid lane. Orianna down in the bot side. Trying to get her wave shoved in so she can rotate up.
Yeah, and Ford has basically seeded his lane to allow the Master Yi to farm it.
Right. And there's just not really any objectives anytime soon, so... Kind of hard to know exactly what the macros are supposed to be other than just farming for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, SG, all they care about is farming. As long as they don't drop towers to the Yi, to Ford, they're sitting fine. Like, they have to stabilize. They cannot make this gold lead grow already bigger than it is. Like, we're at 3.5k, so they really need to make sure that they don't fall behind any more than they already are.
I do like SG's, or I did like SG's vision setup. I think 2 of their wards expired as I was beginning to talk. They do need to reestablish, both sides kind of need to reestablish vision lines, strength theocracy, getting that set up right now.
Yeah, now Ford is on Paint Licker. He's going to drop the ultimate onto Paint Licker, and that's going to be Paint Licker dropping. He does get his ultimate out, though, so they do get a trade onto Ford. But Crawl is here, and Crawl is ready to slay. He already picks up 1, he picks up 2.
Dude. They may be able to end off this Herald push if that Herald doesn't go down.
Yeah, they're trying to keep the Herald alive. Swagasm
zone off learning
and learning are here. Swagasm has the ultimate. They shouldn't be able to end here. They're going to walk away, and that's going to be the Herald dropping. So no ending push there. But
I think am I crazy for saying that? You know, like,
yeah.
Like, if you... Yeah, I am good.
No.
You know, if you're able to zone learning off and get the Herald off there and then pick up the kill on learning, that was a scary situation.
Yeah, 100% was. I don't think it would have ended the game, but that would have been detrimental. They would have lost an inhibitor. They would have had full priority over all objectives from this point on. I mean, they already basically do have full priority over all these objectives.
I'm trying to remember what I cast a game in BTL maybe 2 years ago with Defiance, who ended the game at about 16 minutes on a Herald push just like that, and I thought we were going to see the exact same thing. I thought it was going to be a little too poetic.
Ooh, Ford and Crawl could be in danger though. They're walking right into him. Ford gets CC chained, and Ford could be in danger. Does pop the gust to ensure he gets away. Empress of Blades TP'd mid, so it's going to be a 5v5 for this dragon. If SG can pick this up without dying, this is going to be pretty huge because this will be soul point for them. We'll have to see what happens here. We do have Ford trying to get a flank with his ultimate. Vincent is putting full priority onto the dragon, but Crawl is here. Crawl gets stunned by Swagasm. A nice Orianna ulti to hit a huge CC pain of the shutdown's going to go over to them. But the Lux ultimate mixed in with Ford, it's just too much damage to deal with. Jinx is so excited. She's moving so fast. Look at those auto attacks go out. And what looked like it could have been super good for SG just turns on its head. And that's going to be the dragon. And that should be the Baron.
Crawl gets annihilated at the beginning of the fight, which should be the best news if you're SG. But somehow they lined up just perfectly to where all 4 of them were blasted by a giant laser beam like it's Halo 3 in 2008. And you just grabbed a Spartan laser and you took out a triple kill. Based off that one laser, pretty much doing 40% of maybe 3 champions health. Right. A little embarrassing, but able to make it look cool there at the end. But yeah, it's just a great start poor finish there. Just not really respecting some of the tools on DS's side. So SG not able to really come out on top, but still hopefully giving them a little bit of hope that, hey, we can win this. Crawl is human. We can kill him.
Yeah, 100%. Like getting that kill on the Crawl is as good as it gets. They need, but the problem
is
is
go on to, Frost?
Jinx and Ford.
Perfect.
So it. I mean, Dynasty Sapphire in position to just end this game.
Oh.
They're up.
No.
The
Master
Poppy.
Yi
It
shut
went
down.
it went to Poppy. Not great.
Okay. So worst case scenario.
Yeah. But they do know that he's killable, and the only problem is are they going to be able to get a repeat to where they're able to pop Crawl like that instantly and avoid Empress of Blades laser?
Right. Yeah, and you saw there, I mean, there's not a lot of zoning tools from either side. It was very interesting jockeying as Baron's starting to get hit here by Crawl. Crawl can easily take this.
Yeah, I mean, Crawl could solo this at this
I think
point
he's
in the
gonna be
game,
able to get
but
it.
they are going to sniff this out, so let's see if they can get into the pit fast enough. Finsat's going to look for... No, okay.
Too slow.
So that's going to be the Baron for SG, and now Learning could be in danger, but he does get a huge Orianna ulti onto Crawl and Empress to drop them both down to half HP, and it's going to dissuade the fight. But that Baron is going to be at least two inhibitors dropping. It has to be.
Right. Frey, honestly, Frey positions traps just a little bit further. Learning dies there, and this is going to be a lot more difficult for them to withhold the siege.
Yeah, and SG's in the problem now where Yi is no longer the only threat. Jinx has 2 items completed, 3 kills. Jinx is going to be an issue to deal with alone, on top of you having to use everything on the Crawl's Yi. But that's going to be Jinx's ultimate. Paint Licker's going to get dropped down low, and the final spark does connect the kill. And that is going to be a 1 for none, and that should be at least 2 inhibitors, top and mid falling.
In honor of Veterans Day, it looks like DS watched a little bit of American Sniper, because they're out here pew-pewing from the long range, Frost.
Alright, so that's going to be 1 inhibitor dropping. And now TP into the top side. Crawl's going to have to pop his flash to get away from Orianna's ultimate, so a pretty huge summoner spell dropped right there. And now they're just going to start the siege in the top side. Vincent gets caught out, though. He does get knocked up. He gets pushed around, and now he's just going to get dropped while Crawl's going forward with the Dustblade. He's trying to get more. He gets stunned up by Poppy, but it's not going to be enough to kill him. And he's going to drop that Meditate, make sure he survives, and that should be the second inhibitor tower falling, and potentially second inhibitor and potentially the game, because they just got a pick on a Paint Licker, and out is a 3v5. Jinx is excited. She's trying to get more done. She gets as much damage onto Learning as he can. Ford's going forward, trying to get as much damage. Ford has no fear whatsoever. Poppy's going to drop the ultimate. It's going to go wide, though, only hitting minions, but not enough, while Ford is trying to get on top of Learning. Gets pushed away by Swagasm, but Swagasm's the nader now. Empress of Blades flashes forward for the root, and gets the knockup misses. So that's going to be all the Nexus Towers dropped, and this is going to be a 5v5 for SG's life. They're trying to get as much damage as they can. Vivsack goes forward with his needles, tries to get more damage onto Ford, but Ford is so tanky, he just cannot die. And that Dynasty Sapphire is going to walk away with a lot of gold. 13k up.
That starts with, yeah, I mean, this is pretty much going to be insurmountable if you're over on red side. But, I mean, that all starts with Vimstat stepping up way too far, putting himself in a situation where he gets knocked around like a working girl in a brothel, and just absolutely obliterated. And it's just rough. It's going to be so hard to come back now. And 17-4 scoreboard itself. Just looking at scoreboard without even looking at what's going on in the game just doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
If you're on red side.
All right. So, all right. I mean, we're gonna have another fight here. It's just gonna be the way. It's gonna be a 5v5 for once again SG's life. They cannot get poked out by Empress of Blades, and they need to get as much damage as they can. Aphelios is strong. He does have 2 items, but is he strong enough? The Lux Lizard gets Learning down to half HP, while String of Rocketry starts damaging the Nexus. Jinx is just in the backline getting as much damage down as they can. Ford goes forward. They get a huge Orianna Shockwave for 1 kill picked up, but is it going to be enough? Vimsat is trying to get as much damage down as he can, but he's going to drop, but he gets a kill in response. And now it's Dr. Dad and Paint Licker against the world. They're trying to get more, but they don't have enough. And that's going to be Strength of Democracy into the game for his squad, and that's going to be the series for Dynasty Sapphire.
Wow.
Whoo-wee. What a game. I mean, MVP for me has to go to Crawl. Like,
100%, yeah.
Like that man, a straight savage on that E pick. I have to know what was going through his brain when he decided to lock that in. So
Well, you're assuming he has a brain. He did pick Master Yi. But yeah, absolutely 1v9 by Krull. Obviously, there were other important players. Empress of Blades able to win that matchup versus Learning. Very impressive. Picking locked into Ori. We talked about that matchup a little bit in the pregame screen. I really liked it. I was excited. And I thought that Empress of Blades was able to be a major factor in those dragon fights and controlling in the mid lane as well. Just being able to supply all the zoning and poke pressure that really opened up, as well as that major ultimate that blasts through at Dragon, and I thought that was a huge play. Some great plays on both sides. You know, Vimstat and Dr. Dad, I thought both played very well. But, I mean, Empress of Blaze, Crawl forward, just so dominant in that game.
yeah, all right. So we're gonna pull in Crawl here. He did deafen, so hopefully he is there. Uh, hello, you there, Crawl?
Oh,
Am I
yep.
saying that right? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but
Yeah. Call's good.
all right. So you are the MVP for this series against Spectre Gaming. I mean, first question for me is what inspired the E pick? Because when you locked that in, we were like, what is going on? Like nobody plays Yi in
Uh,
pro play.
well, like he was my, I guess, like main champion when I was first getting out of gold. So I guess there's like some love towards that champion, and I've been begging my coach to pick it in scrims and games. And she basically said, if you play Sejuani and do good in game one, you're gonna get the Master Yi game two.
All
So I
right.
was like, bet. And yeah, that's that's kind of how it happened. Plus, they just drafted no CC basically, so I was like, that's a good E game.
Yeah, it was a pretty powerful stomp in game number two. Picking up 3 kills, you were down quite a bit of farm, but overall, were you really worried about the farm at that point? Like you were down 30 CS while you had 3 kills up, but it didn't seem like you
Well,
cared. You were just like, I just want kills and tower plates.
well, in jungle, I think like obviously your like just tempo really matters, but when you're playing a snowball champion, I think it can definitely like kind of be overlooked. Like obviously, if I was playing something like Karthus or something, it would be pretty worrisome because you need to stay ahead of the curve, just in like your levels and EXP. But if I'm getting 3 kills plus, I think in one of those plays I got like three to third plates
Yeah.
top. I think that is just like I'll just take that because that is just like a first third coming up like in 3 minutes after that. So it's just pretty. It's just like a lot of gold
Yeah.
compared to okay, he can be up a level if he wants to.
Yeah. All
I'll
right.
still one shot him.
Yeah. Sly, do you have any questions about game one or game two?
Well, what did you think was the most impactful moment there in game number two?
It was probably Ford just giving me the first blood because we were like in the VC. He was like we were talking about let's just play towards the Master Yi, and I was like, I saw the Poppy living on 1 HP. I was screaming at Ford, please leave it to me, and he was
Yeah.
like, eat up my baby boy. So I was like, thank you.
I'm just imagining Ford with some chopsticks, just sticking sushi down your throat, just force feeding it.
Just eat and get fed and just like win the game. And to be honest, although I was fed, like my team still like played insanely well. Like I think there was just one team fight in Dragon where they used basically everything. Like they're only two CCs, Poppy and Orianna Shockwave. When they used both of them on me, and like my mid laner lands that crazy ultimate, it's just
Yeah.
like kind of like
Yeah.
you can kill me, but it's not gonna matter.
Yeah.
I think that's where like they realized, okay, this game is a little doomed if we kill Master Yi and we still get aced.
Yeah, it was looking a lot dire, and especially with Jinx picking up those kills, Jinx just becoming another threat that they had to deal with that they didn't have the tools to actually answer. But did Spectre Gaming have anything that surprised you, whether it came from the draft, from the gameplay that you guys weren't expecting, or did everything kind of go according to your guys' plan?
Mostly according to plan. Like I think their game two draft was a little weird because when we were looking at their games, it just felt like they were more so playing towards their mid lane, like kind of similar to like the game one draft where like they pick the Jarvan and like kind of play around their lanes rather than let's pick the Gwen and play towards the jungle,
Mm-hmm.
which I think kind of showed where like like Gwen was trying to just power farm and like not do much else compared to like I don't know, like there wasn't really a lot of rotations coming through for the Gwen. I think that they just tried to play maybe something out of characteristic because their plan didn't work game one.
Yeah, yeah.
I would have to guess that.
All right. All right. Sly, do you have any final questions for Crawl?
One final question. Game one, you get the Sejuani, you get the Jarvan comes down and he ganks you guys. Right? Wait, or
Yeah.
you? I'm right, right? You guys
Yeah.
are red.
Yeah.
Okay. He comes down, he ganks you guys. They pick up the kill on the Ezreal. What's going on in y'all's comms at that point?
Oh, we were surprised, but like he kind of shot himself in the leg at the same time because like he did one camp and then came like did one more and then went top for a level 2 and I was like, okay, I'll just invade him. I took his raptors and then by the time we were like he tried to contest bot side scuttle, I was level 4, he was level 2. Like normally it's a winning 4v4 for them, like with the mid liners rotating as well, but they weren't able to contest because he was level 2 because of the early cheese ganks. I think early cheese can definitely help, but like it is I don't think it is to a point where it's unplayable. Plus I think the kill didn't go on Draven, so it didn't really matter too much either way. Yeah, like
Yeah.
again, it's a much more even matchup. So like when he loses jungle tempo to Sejuani there, it just becomes harder because we have a better mid jungle synergy. Like just the champions alone, Sejuani and Aurelia. So if he gives the tempo over to me, then we can just like kind of walk over the map. Like we killed Syndrome multiple times, get the support roaming and go for heralds. So it just makes it really hard for them to play the game after that.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Crawl, and congratulations on your guys' series win. Thank you, Sly, for joining us in this cast. I believe I have somebody for at the 9 p.m. game. It's either Crawl or Old Sad Boy, but somebody should be joining me that. So thank you guys for all that, and thank you to the BTL community for supporting these teams and supporting us while we stream these games to you guys. We do have a game at 9 p.m. EST today. It's going to be between Brandy's Banana Chompers and Maria's Dungeon. So hopefully it's another banger. I was really excited for this game, and it went completely crazy. I thought these games would be a lot closer, but I mean, you guys showed them what's up.
Hey, you've been underrating us since week 1. It's fine. Like,
Well,
we get shit swamped once, and Frostbyte is like,
Okay,
yeah,
okay. To be
this
fair,
this team is good,
Okay.
but we need to see a little bit more.
Look, you want
It's
to
fine.
look. In my defense, okay. Week 1 was rough, really bad for you guys. Week 2,
Yeah.
and week 2, I have to see the ET versus Dynasty Sapphire rematch because they lost 5 bans and they brought the. Even though you two owed them, those games were insanely close despite them having no bans to work with, which means that your team is just going to do whatever they want. Like that's pretty important, losing 5 bans.
I always saw your like reasoning. The thing is, I think the reason why week 1 looked bad, and then after this weekend and this stream, like this, I joined this team super late, almost like maybe a week before.
Okay.
So I think like Lexi's
You needed synergy build up and stuff.
like that game, like Lexi's Red Emporium game, that was just I think my second game with the team, which is like we were still I guess getting used to each other, but like now that I kind of know how to play on the team a little bit more, I think it just became a lot easier, even like against harder teams.
Yeah. All right. Well, you're just gonna have to prove me wrong then when you guys meet, because I think the next time you guys meet, Elysium Terra would be in the playoffs, assuming that you guys don't have an upset loss in the gauntlet. But
yeah,
we're gonna see how that goes. But thank you for everyone for watching, and we will see you guys at 9 p.m. EST. And thank you, Crawl, for joining.
yep, have a good one.